Hello everyone, I'm Casper Kuma and welcome to Hikeback. Now, I do believe this is a game about hitchhiking. However, this clock here leads me to believe that this is a game about time travel. I don't know though. We'll see. By the way, if you're trying to play this game for yourself and you try to download it through the itch.io app, it will not work. I don't know why, but that has a bunch of JavaScript errors. But if you get it from just the actual itch.io website, then it works. I don't know. Let me tell you a story. It was late that night. I was driving through some backwoods to visit a friend. Then, I spotted something on the side of the road. That's when I first saw you. Sticking your thumb out and looking for a lift. So I decided to stop and help you out. I hitchhiked once. And it's all because my dad was too embarrassed to ask for directions. But sometimes you have to admit that you're lost, or else you end up walking around along a highway with your whole entire family. So sometimes you should just be like, hey, maybe we took a wrong turn. Maybe we should go back from whence we came and not walk on the highway. But the people who picked us up were nice, so that was good. We didn't get murdered. So I decided to stop and help you out. The night was so dark that I could barely see your face, but I managed to catch a glimpse of you through my faded headlights. Your front was smeared with dirt and grime, and your hair stuck out in every direction. You asked me for a ride to the next town over. And I said yes. I watched you climb into the back seat. We rode together in silence for miles. There was no radio signal out here, so music wasn't much of an option. I could barely hear you breathing. Sometimes I forgot you were there at all. I could feel myself starting to nod off. The dust in the headlights swam in lazy streams. And just as I started to drift away... Oh god, that was loud. That was too loud. Oh, you need to turn this down. Something pierced through my stomach. What? Your arms are around my waist from behind the seat, your fingers clutching a bloody scalpel. My throat closed up. My mind went blank. My senses screaming, I lost control of the wheel. And this is why you don't hitchhike or pick up hitchhikers. They're gonna murder you. But why? My head was pounding. Needles prickled across my skin, cut with shattered bone and shrapnel. Every breath I took was harder than the last. There was no one else in these woods, and there was no one around to help. I was going to die here. Next to me, I could see you coughing up blood. Your arms were embedded with broken glass. I asked you why you did it. There was no point, after all. Now, we're both going to die, with no one around to find our bodies. You gave me a wry smile as my vision faded to black. You spoke, with a voice like gravel and serrated teeth. You told me that you couldn't help it. It was in your nature. That's rude. And here we are trying to be a nice person. Wow, we got an ending already? I didn't even do anything yet. Alright. Oh, jeez. Let me tell you a story. My name's not important. Never liked it much anyway. I was driving that night to visit a friend on the other side of the mountains. I'd never met them in person before, but they needed my help. And that was all that mattered. This place really was out in the middle of nowhere, though. Not a sign of civilization to be seen. I was messing around with the radio when I saw you. A scrawny thing in dirty clothes sticking your thumb out. So No! Not this time. I don't wanna... Can we not? I don't think we can. Okay, I guess we're stopping. So I decided to stop. What the hell, you know? I felt bad for you. Maybe you really needed the help. I don't think I could have lived with myself if I abandoned someone in a bad spot. So I flashed my headlights and pulled over beside you. As soon as I got out of the car, I could tell I made the right call. I don't know. You looked like shit. The knees of your pants were all scuffed, and your whole body was smudged with dirt. You needed help. Badly. Hey, you alright? Where are you headed? You looked at me with a blank stare, as if saying nothing but meaningless noise. I sighed and took a step forward. You eyed me warily. Look, you need a ride, right? I'm taking you somewhere, then you can, if I'm taking you somewhere, then can you at least give me a direction? You seemed to consider this for a while. You ran your fingernails up and down your arms as if you were scratching at something. After a bit, you finally looked me in the eyes. Is there a town nearby? I could tell just by listening to you that you desperately needed a drink. Unfortunately, I didn't think the half-empty soda sitting in my cup holder would cut it. Nearby? Not for a while yet. I mean, I don't think this person needs a drink. I think they need a hospital to fix up all this going on. But there should be a gas station at the next exit, about a 20-minute drive or so. You chewed your lip in silence. Do you want me to take you there? You nodded slowly. Please. So I stepped back towards the car and opened the door to the... Well, last time they were behind us and they stabbed us, so maybe they should be in our passenger seat? Like, well, it's not great because now they're like really close to us, but at least they can't surprise hug stab us, so I guess in the passenger side. So I opened the door to the passenger side. You seemed harmless enough and there was no point in being rude. I think they were behind us. I actually don't remember. You didn't move. Everything okay? This is weird. if you, like, are trying to help someone and they, like, are acting like this, maybe just be like, no, know what, never mind. If you want, I can call the cops for you and have them give you a lift, but I'm out of here. Because this is a whole bunch of sketchy. Still nothing. I figured you were just nervous. I didn't blame you. This was a pretty weird situation. Then I noticed you were mumbling something under your breath. See, I foiled the plans. They were gonna stab us. Not the... Hey, no worries if it's too much, okay? If you want, I can always call a police station nearby and have... No. A refusal so quick I had to take a second to even register it. You sure? Must have struck a nerve. It's weird that it says you, because, like, I feel like that implies that it's talking to us, like, we're that person, but we're us, right? I don't know. Without another word, you brushed past me and slid inside. I tried to give your shoulder a reassuring pat as you got in, as reassuring as I could manage, anyway. You almost hit your head on the roof when my hand made contact. Hey. What? Seatbelt? And no response. You see, it says me and you, so it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like right now we're like, me is like someone else and we're actually the passenger, right? But it's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that. And no response. I glanced over my shoulder and pointed at the belt buckle. Put it on. I'm not moving this car until you do. You blinked at me, slowly, before pulling on the seatbelt. You examined it like it was a foreign object as you crossed it over your waist and hooked it into the buckle. With a sigh, I turned back towards the wheel and started up the engine. The radio still wasn't working. It was really starting to piss me off. I guess there wasn't much signal that far out. And all the while, you hardly made a sound. It was like you weren't even there. But you were, I checked. Quiet as a corpse, with your cheek pressed against a window. We drove for miles, endless stretches of the same road, the same trees, the same dark expanse. For all we knew, we could have been driving in place. Things started getting blurry. My eyelids were heavy from the weight of all the hours on the road. I didn't want to risk falling asleep at the wheel, so I went ahead and downed the last of my energy drink. It was long since flat. The sugar and gunk and artificial flavors all stuck to my teeth. Gross. I needed something more substantial to keep me awake. Music would have been fine, but the radio still refused to cooperate. What to do? Should've got a... I don't know if this car has a CD player or something. I don't know. Oh, right. As I heard you shuffling around in your seat, I realized that some friendly conversation could definitely keep me up. I don't think this person's very friendly. I don't think you should try that. I hardly knew anything about you after all. You were just a... you were just a total stranger. What the hell was that? No harm in breaking the ice, right? So I glanced over towards you and spoke. Hey, so what are... I managed to see your scalpel seconds before it went straight through my eye. Ow! The next thing I knew, we were both crashing through the windshield. Ooh. Did any of us make it out? A tree. Or was it a boulder, maybe? I couldn't tell. As soon as my vision went red, the wheel slipped out of my fingers and we crashed into something. My head was pounding. The muck that was left of my eye leaked down my chin. The only thing that kept me from passing out was the pain. Needles prickled across my skin, cut with shattered bone and shrapnel. Every breath I took was harder than the last. There was no one else in these woods. There was no one around to help. I was going to die here. Next to me, I heard you yelp in pain. Through the blood, I saw your leg twisted in ways it never should be. This was the end for both of us. But instead of screaming, crying, begging for my life, all I could feel was... anger. My mouth started moving before my thoughts could. What the fuck is wrong with you? Every word tasted like iron. Because of this. Because of you. Now we're both dead. Even my sight was melting away. I felt your eyes boring into me. Is this what you wanted? Your head lolled to the side as you choked and gasped, wiping your mouth on your arm. The veins in your neck bulged. I could see them clearly now. I wanted to wrap my hands around your throat and squeeze more than I've wanted anything else in my entire life. No. Then why? I pounced on your response like a rabid animal. I had to know. I deserved to know. I heard your nails scrape across the gravel, hair curtaining your face. Who? What? You cleared your throat and tried again. Your voice was thick with blood. Whose fault is this? Answer me. Whose fault? Who is to blame for this ending? The one to blame is... Ooh. I mean, they're doing irrational things, but... I mean, I did click the button, but I didn't want this to happen. I mean, they still stabbed us. It's kind of their fault. Let's go with you. You, obviously. You stabbed me in the fucking eye. What possible... I gotten too heated. I had to take a second to wheeze, feeling my lungs sting. What possible reason could you have had? None. I stopped in my tracks, mouth hung open like a dead fish. What? There was no reason at all. Because it was not a reasonable thing to do. Somehow, it felt like you were speaking much clearer all of a sudden, and I saw movement in your direction. Were you standing up? I did it because I am a bad person. That is all there is to it. I couldn't keep the eye I had left open any longer, even as my mind raced. I felt someone, you, right next to me, a creeping heat that sent goosebumps running up my neck. Because for people like me... I heard the smile in your voice. Oh, jeez. It's my nature. Ending 1 nature. How did we get ending 1 again? This doesn't seem right. You just never learn, do you? I'm trying. I'm trying. Wait, did the clock change? It was at 2 now. This time. Let me tell you a story. My name is not important, never liked it much anyway. I was driving that night to visit a friend on the other side of the mountains. I'd never met them in person before, but they needed my help. That was all that mattered. This place really was out in the middle of nowhere, though. Not a sign of civilization to be seen. My windshield had gotten cracked somehow. No clue when that happened. I wonder if that guy's all covered in scrapes and stuff because, like, we're repeating, like in a loop or whatever, and so all the scrapes and such are from us, like, dying repeatedly. But it's weird that, like, it seemed that they knew things before we even picked them up the first time, and we didn't have any damage to our car yet then. It was no big deal. The car had already seen much better days, and one little crack wouldn't do any more harm. Even though I didn't remember having it. Oof. I was messing around with the radio when I saw you. A scrawny thing in dirty clothes sticking your thumb out. So I kept driving. So I kept right on driving. Like hell, I was falling for that. A stranger out here in the middle of the bumfuck nowhere asking for a lift? Are you kidding? Call me superstitious, but that sounded like the beginning of a ghost story. I was thinking that because they're like the guy that we keep picking up is like a little bit see-through. I wasn't sure if it was like just an art style choice, if it was actually a ghost or something. And I sure as hell wasn't planning on dying anytime soon. I still felt your eyes on me as I sped past you, all the way down the road. I never saw you again. Did we... Oh! Ending, 5? 4? Common sense. I wish I knew what things were. No, yeah, it is definitely moving. Now we're on to 3. But we're not, because we just... Wait, I should have looked at the clock. It would have told me what we just got. I'm thinking it was 4. I think. Or it could have been 5. This time. Let me tell you a story. Okay, I think we can skip... No, maybe not. How do I skip? Whatever. Never liked it much anyway. I was driving that night to visit a friend on the side of the mountains, but they needed my help. That was all that mattered. This place was really out in the middle of nowhere, though. Not a sign of civilization to be seen. My windshield gotten cracked somehow. Not a clue when that happened. No big deal. I don't remember having it messing around. I saw you with your thumb sticking out. I decided to stop. What the hell, you know? I felt bad for you. Maybe you really needed the help. I don't think I could have lived with myself if I had abandoned someone in a bad spot. So I flashed my headlights and pulled over beside you. Although I feel like we should probably have just kept driving. That seems to be the good ending. As soon as I got out of the car, I could tell I made the right call. You looked like shit. The knees of your pants were all scuffed and your whole body was smudged with dirt. You needed help? Badly? Hey, you alright? Where are you headed? You looked at me with a blank stare, as if I was saying nothing but meaningless noise. I sighed and took a step forward. You eyed me warily. Look, you need a ride, right? If I'm taking you somewhere, then can you at least give me a direction? You seemed to consider this for a while. You ran your fingernails up and down your arms as if you were scratching at something. After a bit, you finally looked at me in the eyes. Is there a town nearby? I could tell just listening to you that you desperately needed a drink. Unfortunately, I didn't think the half-empty soda would cut it. Is there really not a skip forward button? Because I kind of don't want to read the same thing I've been reading again. What if I do that? Usually with these games there's a forward button. Whatever. Please. I stepped back towards the car and opened the door to the... Did we have any other options when we did passenger side last time? It might give us a new option now that we've died once. So I opened the door to the passenger side. Seemed harmless enough and there's no point in being rude. You didn't move. Everything okay? Come on, get in the car. Still nothing. I figured you were just nervous. I didn't blame you. This was a pretty weird situation. Then noticed you were mumbling something under your breath. Not the... Hey, no worries if it's too much, okay? If you want, I can always call the police station nearby and have... No. Come on, okay, let's get in the car. Get in there, buddy. What? Seatbelt? And no response. Put it on, I'm not moving the car until you do. The radio still wasn't working, and it was really starting to piss me off. Guess there wasn't much signal that far out, and then all the while you hardly made a sound. It was like you weren't even there. But you were, I checked. Quiet as a corpse, with your cheek pressed against the window. We drove for miles, endless stretches of the same road. For all I knew, we could have been driving in place. Things started getting blurry. My eyelids were heavy from the weight of all the hours on the road. I didn't want to risk falling asleep at the wheel, so I... Huh? The can was completely empty. Weird. I'd been so sure that I still had some left. When did I drink it? Had I forgotten somehow? I tried to shake the weird sense of deja vu from my head and keep my eyes on the road. I caught you staring at me out of the corner of my eye. But as soon as I noticed, you turned back towards the window. I noticed something more substantial to keep me awake. I needed something more substantial to keep me awake. Music would have been fine, but the radio still refused to cooperate. What to do? What you doing? That's a lot of movement in here. Oh, right. As I heard you shuffling around in your seat, I realized that some friendly conversation could definitely keep me up. I hardly knew anything about you, after all. You were just a total stranger. No harm in breaking the ice, right? So I glanced over towards you and spoke. Hey, so what are... Ah, man. I was hoping we'd have some options. I managed to see your scalpel seconds before it went straight through my eye. Next thing I knew, we were both crashing through the windshield. A tree. Was it a boulder, maybe? Couldn't tell. As my vision went red, the wheel slipped out of my fingers and we crashed into something. My head was pounding. The muck was left on my, that was left on my eye leaked down my chin. The only thing that kept me from passing out was the pain. Needles prickled across my skin, cut with shattered bone and sharp now. Every breath I took was harder than the last. There was no one else in these woods. I was going to die here. Next to me, I heard you yelp in pain. Through the blood, I saw your leg twist in ways it should never have been. This is the end for both of us, but instead of screaming, crying, begging for life, all I could feel was anger. My mouth started moving before the thoughts could. What the fuck is wrong with you? Is this what you wanted? I wanted to wrap my hands around your throat and squeeze more than anything I've ever felt in my entire life. Then, why? I pounced in response like a rabid animal. I had to know. I deserved to. I heard your nails scrape across the gravel. Who? What? You cleared your throat and tried again. Whose fault is this? Answer me. Whose fault? Who is to blame for this ending? The one to blame is... me. Clarity struck me then, almost as quickly as the anger had. As ridiculous as it sounded, as much as I barely believed it myself. Me? Pardon? You sound just as surprised as I felt. But the longer I thought about it, the more it made sense. If I hadn't stopped, if I hadn't picked you up or given you a lift, then this wouldn't have happened. Something squeezed down my chest. I couldn't tell if it was from the impact or something else. How do you figure? Somehow, it felt like you were speaking much clearer all of a sudden. But I didn't dwell on it for too long. Should have known better. Don't trust strangers and all that, right? I wanted to laugh, but it hurt too much to even try. So I should have known better. Someone like you. How else could this have ended? All that frustration, all that blind anger and desperation and bitterness that I had felt. All I could feel now was regret. Regret that I had to end this way. I didn't realize how much time had passed until you spoke again. It's not your fault. What? I craned my neck as best as I could to catch a glimpse of you out of the eye that I had left. It looked like movement from where you'd been, like you were standing up or something. But that was impossible, right? You couldn't help it. You spoke softly, as if you were trying to comfort me. Something pressed against my hair, something warm, like someone was petting my head. You sighed. You just couldn't help it. I really couldn't. Okay, I want to see all the endings because it's in your nature. Ending 6? Bitterness? 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, cool. So now we're on to 4. We got some progress. It hurts. Let me tell you a story. My name is not important, never liked it much anyway. Driving that night to visit a friend on the other side of the mountains. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna see if there's a way to fast forward real quick. Okay. I think if I press tab, maybe? Oh, nope. Hello. That is not the button. Uh-oh. Ignore? Oh, it did work. Okay, cool. I decided to stop. So I decided to stop. I could see blood trickling out of your nose. You needed help. Badly. Hey, you alright? Where are you headed? You looked at me with a blank stare, as if saying nothing but meaningless noise. I sighed and took a step forward. You eyed me warily. Look, you need a ride, right? If I'm taking you somewhere, then can you at least give me a direction? Why don't you get in the back seat this time? So I opened the door to the back seat. Better safe than sorry. You stared at me for only a moment before climbing inside. Will I be able to stop them this time? Hey. What? Seatbelt? And no response. I turned around in my seat and pointed at the belt buckle. Put it on. I'm not moving this car until you do. You rolled your eyes as you tugged on the seatbelt, as if we'd had this conversation before. With a sigh, I turned back towards the wheel and started up the engine. The radio still wasn't working. It was really starting to piss me off. I guess there wasn't much signal that far out. And all the while, you hardly made a sound. It was like you weren't even there. We drove for miles, endless stretches of the same road, same trees, same dark expanse. For all we knew, we could have been driving in place. Things started getting blurry. My eyelids were heavy from the weight of all the hours on the road. I didn't want to risk falling asleep at the wheel, so I... Huh? The can was completely empty. Weird. I've been so sure I still had some left. When did I drink it? Had I forgotten somehow? Tried to shake the weird sense of deja vu from my head and keep my eyes on the road. Still nothing from the back seat. I adjusted my rear view so I could get a look at what you were up to. I could barely see a thing. My throat closed up. What had I been thinking, letting you into my car? I had no idea who you were, what you wanted, or what you were capable of. For all I knew, you could be hiding my body in a highway ditch somewhere by the morning. You were just a total stranger. How far were we to somewhere safe? If something happened, would anyone come to help? And as these thoughts swarmed to my head, I heard you moving around in the back seat. My chest felt tight as panic surged inside me. I swore that I could feel your breath on my neck. Were you about to kill me? I had to do something, now. So I... Ooh. Hit the brakes. So I hit the brakes. I couldn't take it anymore. I need you out of my car, now. Without hesitation or warning, I veered off towards the side of the road and hit the brakes. Except, I didn't catch the tree in time. Hopefully, they weren't wearing the seatbelt and they flew out the window and I'm okay? My legs weren't moving, darn it. My arms weren't either. My body didn't do anything that I told it to. Like in a dream or a nightmare. My head was pounding. All I could do was breathe, and that was getting harder by the second. It hurt, but eventually the pain all blended together like white noise, dull, comforting. Needles prickled across my skin, cut with shattered bone and shrapnel. There was no one else in these woods. There was no one around to help. I was going to die here. I managed to turn my head to the side just enough to see you lying in a crumpled heap. You were face down, blood pooling out from under your head. You weren't moving. This was the end for both of us, so I closed my eyes. Maybe I already did that. I don't know. Was that the first one we did? You were going to kill me anyway. I just knew it somehow. A random stranger out in the middle of nowhere, all filthy, acting weird, and asking for a ride? Of course you had to be a killer, or some kind of bad person at least. Anyone else would have done the same. This is the only way things could have ended. I did what I had to do in self-defense. Yeah, that was it. Self-defense. My breath shook. I did what I had to do. Sounds like we're making excuses, right? I don't know. We could have just drove away. Ending 2, self-defense. Interesting. This is cool. I like this. Not like that. Let me tell you a story. Okay, my name's not important. I decided to stop. Get in the backseat again. So I spoke up. My mouth suddenly felt very dry. With a deep breath, I spoke. What do you think you're doing? And almost as soon as the words left my mouth. Oh, God. Your arms wrapped around my chest from behind and something cold and sharp pressed against my neck. Damn, that is a stare. I am merely taking precautionary measures. I gripped the steering wheel like this was my last chance. Blood roared in my head. One flinch, one speed bump, that was all it would take for this stranger to slit my throat. As I swallowed, my skin sank a bit deeper into the blade. How so? Simple. You could stop this car and kill me at any time, or drop me off somewhere to rot in captivity. If you so wished, you could even crash this car and watch me burn, safe behind an airbag. Now, didn't seem like the best time to mention that I took the airbags out of this thing years ago. Why would you do that? That sounds incredibly unsafe. Why would you do that? But this way, you cannot kill me without killing yourself. And in turn, I cannot kill you without killing myself either. Thus, we are even. Does that make sense? He waited for an answer. You have a point. I racked my brain for good answers, and they came up empty. I couldn't really argue with that now, could I? I sighed, trying not to think about how close I was to dying at any moment as I drove. I admit it. You do have a point there, but, what happens when we make it to the gas station? You know, what's keeping you from killing me as soon as I stop the car? You huffed. No reason to. All I need is a ride. Sure, I guess. But why should I believe that? You're already threatening to kill me and all. You would just have to trust me. Trust you, huh? Well, we're strangers, yeah? I don't know a thing about you. Trusting you is a pretty big ask. So, can I really afford to do that? If I stop this car, I'd be throwing away the only leverage I have against you right now. Then, by that same logic, if I take away this blade, I'd be making the same foolish mistake. We sat there in silence. I guess we're at a standstill then, aren't we? Your fingernails dug into my shoulders, the scalpels nicking at my skin. I suppose we are. I wonder why they have a scalpel and not just like a regular knife. Like, I don't know. I guess they're a doctor or something. I don't know. It's just a strange thing to have. I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing you can just buy a scalpel if you want, but it's not a choice. Maybe if I... Let me tell you a story. Okay. Stop. Backseat, boy. I spoke up. That doesn't make any sense at all. I couldn't help it. My temper flared. Like hell, that makes sense. The fuck are you even talking about? Why would I do something like that right after stopping to help you out? Not to mention risk getting killed myself. I'm just trying to show you a bit of kindness, that's all. I took a second to catch my breath. I wasn't even sure where all of that came from. You were waiting patiently for me to finish. After a few moments, he spoke again. Kindness, you say? Yeah, heard of it? You ever consider that maybe, just maybe, all I wanted was to be nice? And a fat load of good that did me. Now you're threatening to kill me for it. I felt your fingers wrap against my shoulder in a steady rhythm. You took a while to respond this time. We are strangers, are we not? Just as you had once told me. Strangers who have absolutely no reason to trust each other. Such is why you led me to the seat rather than the one beside you. You did not trust me enough to be close to you. I tried that a couple of times, and each time you stabbed me in the eye, so don't even be saying that. It was a wise decision. I would have done the same. And yet, despite being total strangers, you offered to drive me out of the forest. Now, why might that be? You had no way of knowing that I possessed a blade, no indication that it could possibly be a threat to you. For all that you could tell, I was completely and utterly defenseless. And even now I cannot hope to kill you without killing myself as well. You leaned forward, your lips ghosted right against my ear. From the very beginning, I have been at your mercy. Now, is this what you call kindness? I couldn't bring myself to speak. You clicked your tongue. Well then, if so, then you're just as bad as I am, aren't you? Ending 3, kinship. We're on 7 now. Oh, what other options do we have that we've missed? Again. Let me tell you a story. What if we keep driving? Do we get anything else if we do that again? I'm just curious. So I kept right on driving. Okay, well, no. Alright, so that's just way out of here. So let's try again. You just never learn, do you? Oh, but it did progress us. That's interesting. Again. Roll back. Roll back. Again. Roll back. Again. Again. What the hell? Again, as many times as it takes, no matter how long, no matter how far, no matter how much I had to suffer, no matter how many times I rolled back. Because I needed to keep going. Because I needed to keep running. Because I needed to escape this endless cycle. There. First oak, second bend on the left. So the only way from here was... run. Forward. My shoes were thinning at this point. The soles couldn't take much more of the same rocks, the same twigs, the same scattered debris. Just another one of the things I had to let stick around each time, as obnoxious as it was. If I wasted my energy rolling back every single little detail, I'd be dead by now. It just wasn't worth it. So I settled for letting a few things slip through the cracks. And I didn't have much stamina left as it was. Exhaustion weighed at my every step, leaving me lagging behind. Already 2.5 seconds slower at the landmark. I was running out of time. Third bend, second stump. Only one option. Run. So I kept running. As long as I kept moving, as long as I kept running, I'd make it eventually, right? Even if all I was doing was running in place. My lungs burned. I couldn't outrun her forever. I knew that much. I'm not stupid. Oh, that was a girl? I don't know. But I didn't have much of a choice anymore. If I got too far for her liking, she'd pull my reins and drag me all the way back, kicking and screaming. Not this time. This time I'd make it. Whenever this time would actually be. My muscles screamed, my breath sharp, stinging. I bit down on my arm. It kept me going, distracted from the ache. Pain's like an itch that way. If you ignore it, it will only get worse. Scratch it, and you got relief. If only for a little while. Next bend, 8th stump. Run. I don't think we're getting anywhere. Yeah, that was it. Keep running, keep surviving. Make it across the road and... I think... Wait. Were we the hitchhiker that time? But that makes no sense. Did they, like, because I'm assuming we got out of our car for that, so maybe they found the car and they came and killed us? No. No. Not again. Shit. How could I have been so stupid? The road. I had to wait for the car on the road. I could almost hear his voice then, muffled, distant, as he stumbled out of his car towards what was left of my body. Who are we talking about? But with blood clogging up my ears, his words were lost on me. I felt his hands grip my shoulders, trying to shake me awake. Not that it mattered what he said anyway. There was no chance I'd settle for this ending. Even if my body was broken and bleeding, I could just roll back and everything would be would settle into place again. Like it never happened at all. So I willed myself to roll back. Do I have to? What if I don't wanna? Why wasn't it working? Was I doing something wrong? All I needed to do was roll back all the way until that choice I'd made, the one that had gotten me killed again. Then I could do it right this time. I could do better. So I willed myself to roll back. I don't wanna. Why wasn't it working? Was I doing something wrong? All I needed to do was roll back all the way until the choice I'd made, one that got me killed again. Then I could do it right this time. I could do better. Alright, I think we're stuck in the loop. Do I really? Yeah, okay, I think we have to roll back. Alright. Almost there. So I willed myself— oh wait. Huh. What if I keep skipping? No, I think I have to hit the button. Keep going. How isn't it working? Further. All I need to do is roll back all the way until the choice I'd made, the one that got me killed again. Is it not working? Hmm. Oh, okay, I just have to keep spamming this. Keep going. Almost there. Further. Further, further, further. Keep going. Is there any getting out of this? I don't know if I should keep spamming this or if we should just return the menu. I think we should just return. Oh. No. I don't know what else to do. Do better. How many times do you want me to press this button? I don't... Alright. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Let's try getting out of here. Yes. Again. Again, 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 again. Hmm. So the only way from here was... run. I don't know what we should do. There must be something. I just keep pressing this button for all of eternity? Because I feel like we just kind of rolled back to the beginning of this whole little sequence here. I don't think we really made any progress. I guess. I don't know what to do. Can I drag this or something? Must be something else I can do. Hold on, give me a minute. Okay, I have to watch where I'm hitting that rollback button a bit more. Run. Run. Roll back? We can't. Run. Roll back. Run. Roll back. Run. Roll back. Roll back. Roll back. Right, let me see. On the third time, once you get stuck, roll back as far as you can. Something will happen. I mean, we can't roll back anymore. Maybe I just have to keep hitting this button? Oh, here we go. Huh? What was that? That didn't happen last time, right? Just a hitch, maybe? Then if I... Oh. Oh? Oh. I was back here. I definitely hadn't been found. Not that quickly. This was a different type of hitch then. Punishment for rolling back too much, I suppose. Bargain too much with the past, and eventually the past comes to collect. I wonder why it didn't let me, like, get to this earlier, because I was hitting that rollback button a lot. Maybe it just wasn't at the right moment. If I waited, I'd eventually end up where I was supposed to be. But that meant dealing with... her. Even in my own memories, her presence put me on edge. I sat on the edge of my old cot and her on the folding chair across the room. Then, this was one of our sessions together, way back when. Again, number 8. I know you can do better this time. Training sessions, that is. My vision throbbed behind my skull and my nostrils thick with the stench of copper. My nose was bleeding again. I decided not to deviate from the script. I can't. It hurts. My voice was small, so fragile, and useless. I sounded like a child and I hated it. I wanted to tear that weakness right out of my throat. I know it hurts. But you need to try again, okay, number 8? Just one more time, and then you can rest as long as you'd like. Really? My blood boiled. Do you promise? I promise. Liar. Liar, liar, liar. Pants on fire. Now, one more time, find out what's on the other side of this card. And then roll back and tell me what it is before I show it to you. Do you understand? My nails dug into my arms as she spoke. Yes, ma'am. Hide. A car would be passing by on the road any second now. If I ran, I'd get hit. So I caught myself on the nearby tree and crouched down into the brush. But I always came to the same inevitable conclusion. I couldn't keep going like this. My legs hurt, my stomach groaned, my eyelids begged for rest. I knew how this worked. I'd seen the movies. The movies I was allowed to watch, in any case. I crept towards the side of the road and stuck my thumb out, just like I remembered. In the movies, someone always winds up dead by the end, right? I didn't know what other choice I had. My scalpel hung heavy against my thigh, the one thing I'd been able to take with me, the one thing that had kept me alive. There had better be there had to be a better ending to this. There had to be. I wasn't going to give up, no matter what it took. so he flashed his headlights and pulled over right alongside me. As soon as he came out of the car, I knew something wasn't right. He was too quick about it, too eager. The door just shut a little too loudly. I just knew he must have remembered. He remembered and he was angry and he was about to hurt me and kill me and send me back and leave me to rot and then he stepped forward. Close, too close. He was too close. Close enough to grab, close enough to choke, close enough to kill. Close enough to hold and squeeze and sigh and whisper and tell me how much he really didn't mean it. Close enough to... stab. Ooh. My scalpel sank into his side. It gave so easily, like dough parting around my finger. But it wasn't enough. He pinned me to the ground. My scalpel was still stuck inside him, but this time it hadn't been fatal. He twisted my arm behind my back, farther. I heard something snap. I screamed into the dirt, tears biting at the edges of my eyes, and my arms went limp in his grasp. It hurts. Make it stop, please make it stop. Hissing through my teeth, I squeezed my eyes shut. I had to go back. I had to. I couldn't let it end like this. I knew it was scary. I knew it would hurt to feel it break again. But I didn't have a choice. Not anymore. All it would take was a quick rewind. I had to go back. I had to. Couldn't let it end like this. Alright. Okay, we have to do it. But I didn't have a choice. Not anymore. I needed to go back. Further. Going. Further. If I keep going, I can stop at this before it happens. Hissing through my teeth, I squeezed my eyes shut. I had to go back. Oh, okay. Even further than this. Shit, just a little further and I'd be free. Now he'll pin me to the ground and... Again? But why? Was I really running that low? She warned me once, said that if I rolled back too much I'd tear myself apart, but... Part of me hoped that it was just another one of her lies. In that case, I knew I had to do whatever I could to find my better ending as quickly as possible. No matter the cost. I took a deep breath and waited for the memory to end. No. Not this one. Anything but this one. I was trying to hide underneath my cot, but there was no point. She saw everything. I hugged my knees to my chest as the door burst open. I heard her heels when she walked in. 2 sets of boots followed her. Security guards. I tried to be quiet, tried to be still, tried to be invisible. But it didn't work, of course. I always wound up right back here, right back in this horrible limbo. A cycle that never ends. The guards pulled me out from under the cot by my ankles and slammed me against a wall, my arms pinned. I struggled. I squirmed a bit and screamed and kicked. Nothing worked. She stood between them, her eyes boring into mine. I couldn't look away even if I tried. You know why you're in trouble, don't you, number 8? I bit my tongue to keep myself from answering on impulse. I think you do. I heard that you tried to run away again last night, number 8. The boys told me that you were quite the troublemaker, that you injured 3 of them when they brought you back home. They say you even roped a civilian into your antics. Apparently you convinced some poor old woman to hide you from us. Is this all true, number 8? I tasted copper again. It's your fault. Oh. You killed her. She was only trying to help and you killed her for it. Is that right? Yet, you're perfectly aware of what you're capable of, are you not? You know how much I care about you. And you know how far we'd go to bring you back safely to us. Yet even so, knowing all of this, You still put that woman in harm's way. This woman you believe to be so innocent. Did you ever consider her safety, number 8? Or were you content to use her for your own selfish ends? Stop it. We didn't kill her, number 8. You did. She cupped my chin, her thumb stroking my cheek. You're not a good person, number 8. You never have been. You're a weapon, a tool, a killer, and nothing more. Don't forget it. It's in your nature. The woman you met knew that. That's why we found chloroform in her coat pocket. I didn't want to hear this anymore. I'm the only one who loves you for what you are, number 8. I didn't want to be here anymore. You know better now than to try and leave me again, don't you? No more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more. Don't you, number 8? No more. Breathe. I was out. Back to before he left the car. But that was fine. I remembered something. Or something important. I remember what had felt so wrong last time. I focused, trying to collect my thoughts. It's just you. What? You came out of the car, right on schedule. But something was still off. That smile of yours, usually it was the first thing I saw. The last too, sometimes. But this time, it was nowhere to be found. As much as it put me on edge, seeing you without it somehow felt even worse. Hey, you alright? Where are you headed? Like clockwork. The same words, the same cadence, the same ending. What could I do to make things end differently this time? I was resisting not only what fate had in store for me, not only whatever your intentions were, but in the end, my very own nature. What do you do when you're the one stacking the odds against? What do you do when you're the one stacking the odds against yourself? You step closer, but I expect it this time. Not that it helps. My throat closes up when you approach, an involuntary response, survival instincts. Look, you need a ride, right? So round and round it goes. If I'm taking you somewhere, then you can at least give me a direction. Anywhere but here. But I knew I couldn't say that. I couldn't give too much away. I picked at the bite marks on my arm, forcing myself to breathe again. Deep breaths, focus, do better this time. I met your gaze head on and willed my voice to stay even, stable. Stick to the script. Is there a town nearby? And there was that smile. Almost as soon as the words left my mouth, your expression shifted. I could never get a read on you, no matter how many times I rolled back. Nearby? Not for a while yet, I don't think. I tapped a finger on the inside of my palm, trying to be patient. Next it was, but there should be a gas station at the next exit, about a 20-minute drive or so. I sank my teeth into my lip, only minor deviances so far. Would it be enough? Do you want me to take you there? I mean, they're the same thing, aren't they? Let's nod. I nodded. The lump in my throat wouldn't go away no matter how hard I tried to swallow. Please. You returned my nod, ever so slightly, but you were still smiling, always with the smiling. Do you even notice you were doing it? Before I could stop you, your hand made contact with my shoulder. Took any semblance of self-control I had left to keep me from pushing you away and taking out my scalpel. You patted me twice and turned back towards the car. I watched you closely, making sure you opened the right door. Back seat. Good. My shoulders relaxed, ever so slightly. I didn't like it when you were too friendly, too trusting. Made me nervous. I'd already seen a lifetime's worth of you, but even so, I couldn't risk trusting you back. I had no idea who you really were, after all. You coming? Moment of truth. My scalpel felt cold, pressing against my skin as I climbed inside. Why don't we just not stab him? Wouldn't that help? The smell wasn't any better this time around. Like the bottom of an old ashtray. Hey. My brow furrowed. What? Seatbelt. Oh, right. For some reason, it slipped my mind every single time. Hard to think about road safety when I knew you could send this car hurtling into the next street any moment. No seatbelt was gonna help me there. Put it on. I'm not moving this car until you do. Whatever. I crossed it across my chest and tugged it into the buckle without another word. One time, back when I still wasn't sure what it was, I had asked you what seatbelts were for. You started asking me a whole lot of questions after that, ones I didn't like too much. It didn't end well. That was about the time I realized that you couldn't know the truth, not even pieces of it. People didn't tend to take it too well when they found ticking time bombs in their cars. Eternity gnawed at the edges of my mind, a limbo of my own making. Miles passed behind us, the same road, the same trees, the same dark expanse. My nails dug into my arms. It was like torture, waiting to see what this loop would have in store for me. Would we crash? Another threat, maybe? Would you try to turn me into the police? What was it that I had to do to get the right ending this time? How long would it take until I was free? How many times would my nature get the better of me? What was I doing wrong? My eyes stung. You moved. You weren't supposed to do that. You only shifted in your seat like that when you were suspicious of me. I glanced up and the drink was gone. Not right, not right, not right, not right at all. I'd left that hitch behind ages ago. More trouble than it was worth. So you were supposed to realize that it was empty when you picked it up to take a sip and then go back to driving. Like normal. But your cup holder was empty and it wasn't right. Not right at all. Had you realized? Did I get something wrong? Did I make it too obvious? Had I left too many hitches behind? Did you remember everything? Were you just playing along so you could get me back into the car and find the right moment to kill me? Or send me back to her? How much longer? How much longer until I died again? How much longer until they collared me up and locked me away for good? How much longer until the windshield shattered into the pieces across my chest? How much longer until... Hey. Oh god, you knew. My scalpel is in my hands already. I didn't remember how it got there. So, I've been meaning to ask, what's got you hitchhiking like this anyway? What are you looking to find in town? Were you taunting me? You had to know already. You had to. You waited for my answer. What was I looking for? A better ending. I'm looking for a better ending. I knew there was still one out there for me. I knew it. All I had to do was find it, earn it. There was no way that everything I had been through was for nothing. A better ending? Ending to what? Everything. I thumbed the edge of my scalpel. I don't think I catch your meaning. You have no need to. It is none of your business. I heard you snort. Kind of is. You're in my car, you know. You're not planning on doing something dangerous, are you? The blade stung in my flesh. And if I was? I didn't wait for an answer. This path was already a lost cause. You must have figured it out already, but I wouldn't be so careless the next time. Before you realized what I truly was, before you lost control of the wheel, I drove my scalpel into the back of your seat. And I prepared myself to start again. Oh. You know you don't have to do that, right? You could just not. Is this really the ending that I want? I don't want to end it like this. Where was I? Oh, right. I was driving through the mountains. Okay. Oh, no, I can't skip. This is new. I was driving through the mountains that night to visit someone on the other side. A friend. Met him online a couple months ago. Never saw him in person, though, obviously. That would ruin the surprise after all. I tapped my fingers against the steering wheel. This area was definitely rustic. Small town, small people, small problems. It made things easier. I didn't bother messing with the radio any further. I'd since given up the ghost. I ran my thumb over the cross of my neck, thinking, planning. And then I remembered something. Something important. It was something that had never happened before, but it was memory nonetheless. Funny how that works, huh? And that's when I saw you. A scrawny thing in dirty clothes on the side of the road, sticking your thumb out. Someone who needed help. So I don't know what to do. I decided to stop. I couldn't very well abandon you, could I? That strange little memory tugged at the back of my head, so I elected to compromise. I flashed my headlights and pulled over a little further down the road from you. So, I wonder if it's gonna let us choose answers that aren't gonna get them suspicious? I went straight to the trunk as I got out and grabbed some essentials for my bag. Phone, first aid, that sort of thing. That didn't happen before. Even if it was nothing, I figured there was no harm in being prepared. What's that saying again? A stopped clock is right twice a day or something? I closed the trunk and started heading down in your direction. Oh? I got the chance to look at the stars as I walked. The sky was gorgeous that night, no light pollution or big ugly buildings to muck things up. I could see the stars the way that the Lord intended. It helped me think. I figured I could hang around this area for a while once I was done with my visit. The air could do me some good. When I got close enough, I waved you down to get your attention. You seemed nervous. I didn't blame you. Hands in my pockets, I approached you with a smile on my face. Just didn't feel right not to have one. Wait, is the friend we're visiting that doctor? Scientist lady? Mad scientist lady? As soon as I saw you, I knew I'd made the right decision. You were sorry sight, like you'd been wandering these woods for days. Alone, frightened, desperate. Poor thing. You needed help. Badly. Hey, you alright? Where are you headed? No response. You didn't want to even look me in the eyes. Like you knew something that I didn't. I took a step forward. You didn't even flinch. Take as long as you need, okay? No rush. Just tell me when you're ready. Now that got your attention. You eyed me warily, as if looking for something. I wonder what you thought you would find. You need a ride, right? Just give me a direction and I can take you there. Still nothing. You looked like you were struggling with something. Only God knew what was going on in that head of yours. But I waited, patiently, as long as you needed. It's not like I was going much of anywhere. You ran your fingernails up and down your arms, as if you were scratching at something. And then, you finally met my gaze. Is there a town nearby? Your voice was parched from thirst. You sounded like you were 2 steps from passing out. No wonder you needed my help. Not for a while yet, unfortunately. I wasn't too keen on the idea of bringing someone who knew my face along with me during my visit. Besides, it wasn't really a lie. The Lord would forgive me. But there should be a gas station at the next exit. About a 20-minute drive or so. I could take you there, if you'd like. Another pause. Something was really getting to you. Life would be so much easier if people were just open with their problems. Easier to help that way. But patience is a virtue. I knew I'd learn the truth eventually. I always did. Please. So polite. The way you spoke made it sound like you were trying to impress somebody. Even though I knew you didn't have a lick of trust in me. Poor thing. My car is over there. You good for a short walk? Another nod. Not much hesitation this time. Were you already warming up to me? How cute. But not enough to walk ahead of me, I figured. So I took the lead as we made our way back. Oops, I clicked off the game. There we go. I pressed a kiss to my cross when you weren't looking. I don't know, this guy's suspicious. The stars were still so lovely tonight, and I almost got lost in them. The steady sound of your footsteps alongside mine kept me on track. I wondered if you realized how loudly you were breathing. How long until you decided to make the first move? How long until that distrust of yours got the better of you? I was ready to let it happen. I wanted you to have your moment. Patience. As always. We just made it to the car when you finally jumped me. Pinned up against the door of the driver's seat with your scalpel at my neck. Well, that had to be your plan anyway. But I remembered something that never happened before. And now my fingers closed around your trembling wrist as you strained, trying so desperately to drive the blade into my flesh. You were too exhausted to use your full strength, so I watched you struggle in vain. What do you think you're doing? Your teeth ground against each other, so determined to see this through. Is that any way to repay a stranger's kindness? I tightened my grip, my nails digging into bone and fragile skin. You hissed, face scrunched up in pain. It was all the distraction I needed. The side of the car groaned as it slammed your weight into it. My hand was caught in a fistful of your hair. You hung limply from my grasp like a doll. The scalpel slipped out from your fingertips. Your eye twitched where the side of your face had made impact. With a sigh, I tossed you back onto the ground. You struggled to sit up. I kicked the scalpel under the car. No time for silly things like that anymore. Ah, you were still trying to fight. Teeth bared, pulling yourself up to your knees. We couldn't have that now, could we? So I pulled my gun out of my pocket and aimed it right at your head. You froze, eyes wide as ever, like a deer in the headlights. Poor thing. You really hadn't expected this at all, had you? That's enough. Sit down. To my surprise, you complied rather quickly. It's like all the fight in you just vanished. All it took was a little tough love, huh? What's wrong with this guy? There you go, feeling better now? I mean, I guess he does remember getting murdered a couple of times, so I don't know, I guess anyone would come and turn into a little bit of a crazy. Your eyes stayed locked at the end of the barrel. Care to tell me why you decided to stab me in the back? I kept my voice even, gentle, no sense of losing my temper or anything. You swallowed. I could see your lip trembling. You glanced down at the ground beneath the car. Someone was getting ideas. I flicked the side of the gun with my other hand, finger still on the trigger. You jumped at the sound. Eyes up here, buddy. Let's try again, shall we? Why were you trying to kill me? You inhaled sharply. Please. Ah, so you finally found that voice of yours. What was that? I gestured with the end of the gun. Your chest rose and fell, shaking like a leaf. Please, please don't kill me. You sounded like you were about to cry. But that didn't exactly answer my question, now, did it? One more time. Think carefully, alright? Oh. Come on now, answer the question. Patience is a virtue, but I had so little of it left I can't exactly help those who refuse to be helped, can I? You didn't hold back this time. The words spilled out of you, ugly and messy and everywhere, like a man at a confessional. I don't know, I just scared, and I... Scared? I hummed. So, then, you acted on instinct? You nodded furiously. I couldn't help it, so I... Shh. You went silent immediately. Just one more question for me. One more and I'll set you free. Your eyes widened. One more, okay? Think carefully. I tilted my head, meeting your eyes. Are you a bad person? You didn't respond. You want to go free, don't you? Answer me then. Are you a bad person? You stammer uselessly. I don't know. I don't understand what you're not sure. I don't think... who are we talking about right now? Are we talking about... I think you are, or you aren't, are you? Like, we're talking about the guy with the gun now, aren't we? Or is you still the kid and me still the driver? I don't think so. I think we've flipped now completely. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think either of them are. They're just a little crazy because of circumstances. You aren't, are you? Your brow furrowed. I smile. It's alright. I can tell. Bad people, they don't just come popping out of the ground, you see. Evil is made, raised. The world just pushes and pushes and pushes, and sooner or later, you start to push back. Seems reasonable, doesn't it? You didn't say a word, but you didn't have to. So, how do you get to this point? Just how far did this world push you? I crouched down to meet you at eye level, watching those eyes of yours start to water. You must have been through so much to think that this was your only option. But it never ends, does it? No matter how hard you try. No matter how hard you push back, you're always left with pain, and it never ever leaves. Your tears streamed all the way down your chin. An endless cycle. Exactly, round and round it goes. A life like that, it's enough to break you. You must be exhausted. You nodded. There was such relief in your face. It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to go through all that anymore. I forgive you. The Lord always forgives. I wrapped an arm around your shoulder and you crumpled like a stack of cards. You fell into me with your fists balled up in my shirt, wet with tears and snot. I held you as long as you needed, kept you as close as I could. Deep breaths. You can rest now. You're free now. I closed my eyes, smiling against your neck. You'll never have to suffer again. I feel like it's lying to me. You didn't even realize my gun was at your head until it was too late. Oh, damn it. I think you are a bad person. Jesus. That is complex. Why would you do that? I need a drink of water. Hold on. What are you? Where was I? Oh, right. Driving through the mountains. Okay. At this point, I've been catfishing him for about 2 months, give or take. He didn't suspect a thing. Post the right pictures, say the right lines. It's like watching moths to a flame. Oh man, you are a bad person. But whatever cozy little evening he had planned was the furthest thing from my mind. I tapped my fingers against the steering wheel. This area was definitely rustic. A small town, small people, small problems. Made things easier. I didn't bother messing with the radio any further. Decided to stop. Oh, and my gun too, of course. God gave predators claws for defending themselves with. Then God gave humans a sense of justice and a Glock to see it through. Wow, okay. I slipped it into my coat pocket, safe and sound. Even if it was nothing, I figured there was no harm in being prepared. What's that saying again? A stopped clock is right twice a day or something. Hands in my pockets, my fingers on the trigger, I approached you with a smile on my face. Just didn't feel right not to have one. Man, we were right. We should have stabbed him many a times. This guy is a psychopath. As soon as I saw you, I knew I made the right decision. Not to mention a pretty nasty looking shiner to show for it. Now, where'd you get something like that from? And how long have you been like this? Alone, frightened, desperate. Poor thing, you needed help, badly. You didn't move, frozen, like you weren't even alive. Had I gone and scared you already? Shame on me. Your eyes fell on my pocket, and just for a moment, doubt crept through my head. But I let go of that weakness when you nodded, slinking back a few steps to give me a wide berth. I took the lead as we followed the road to the car, letting you trail behind me. I pressed a kiss to my cross when you weren't looking. This psychopath. I think you are. I think you are. I think he shot us. One quick shot to the thigh. Nothing serious, mind you. Just enough to keep you from causing any more trouble. You yelped like a dog and collapsed, clutching your leg to your chest. Poor thing, poor thing. But it's alright. I forgive you, you know? You sounded like you were trying to say something, but only the smallest whimper escaped your lips. Well, maybe not at the moment, but eventually I will. By the time I join you, all will be forgiven. Because he always forgives. I bent down to get a better look at you now that we were more reasonable. That you were more reasonable. So sharp and scrawny, it was a wonder that the wind didn't knock you over. See, God sent me to take care of people like you. People who threaten the safety of his flock. People who don't bring nothing good into this world and leave all sorts of nasty stuff behind. I brushed your hair out of your eyes, my fingers trailing across the bruise on your cheek. You stared at me with such hatred in those eyes of yours. People like me, too. Give them a taste of their own medicine and whatnot. Karma, I think they call it. You spit in my face. I couldn't help but laugh. I know. This all doesn't make much sense to you right now, does it? Usually, I try not to mix work and personal business. Makes things simpler that way. But even before I saw you flagging me down, I've been seeing things. Visions, maybe. I saw your eyes widening as I spoke. Things that hadn't happened yet. Things that weren't yet to be. Now, I don't fancy myself a prophet or nothing, but if the Lord's bending my ear, who am I to ignore him? And, well, buddy. I wrapped my fist around the lock of your hair and pulled you up to look at me properly. You'd gone as pale as a sheet. I tucked the barrel under your chin and gave you a smile. God wants you dead. Holy crap. Is there a good ending? Can we get the gun and just kill all these bad people somehow? We're almost at 12. I feel like this is our last chance. But we're not even the kid anymore. Where was I? I think we already got that. We lived a little while away from my usual stomping ground, but I didn't mind none. If I just stuck to the same places, people would start getting suspicious, start connecting the dots. Besides, there were only so many creeps and weirdos I could find on local dating sites. Branching out like this came with the job. The less people like him in the world, the better. I tapped my fingers against the steering wheel. This area was definitely rustic. So, what type of catfishing are you doing? I'm guessing since he's religious, he might be killing all the gay people, perhaps, but I don't know. I don't know. Or, if he's using fake pictures, I guess he could also be killing rapists and stuff like that, but I don't know. They didn't really say much. I just want to know what he's doing. Something I needed to do. If it was something that never happened before, but it was a memory nonetheless. Funny how that works, huh? Just keep going. So I kept right on driving. I didn't have the luxury of waiting. Someone was expecting me. Whatever I had seen, or rather, what I had thought I'd seen. I could handle it later. I still felt your eyes on me as I sped past you, all the way down the road. Never saw you again. Somebody has to go save the person he's catfishing. Oh, okay, well, we got that ending again. I don't want it again. You just never learn. Assuming I played my cards right, he'd be expecting a teenage girl, okay. From the suburbs on his doorstep sometime tomorrow night. Gave me the time I need to set up, scope out the area. Places like this were just teeming with bogs that folk don't do much searching through. If I made it clean, made it quick, I'd have a day or two to sightsee before his body was found and the jig was up. It'd be nice to spend some time outside the house for once. I miss stargazing. I tapped my fingers against the steering wheel. This area was definitely rustic. Small town, small people, small problems. It made things easier. I don't bother messing with my radio any further. I decided to stop. I had a job to do. I flashed my headlights and pulled over a little further down the road from you. Went straight to the trunk and got out and grabbed some essentials. It's time to get to work. I closed the trunk and started heading down in your direction. And as soon as I saw you, I took out my gun and pulled the trigger. Why? Oh, you were still standing. Ah! You clutched your side where the bullet hit, hissing you through your teeth. Your knees shook as you fought to stay upright, blood soaking through your shirt. You definitely weren't going anywhere anytime soon, but it just didn't feel right to just leave you there. Besides, I still had a job to do. I'd received the vision I did for a reason, down to the last detail. You had me trapped here too long already, watched me suffer and squirm underneath your thumb. But no longer. No more of this. Things like you weren't meant to exist. Please, stop. Why does he hate us so much? You clawed at my leg and I pressed the end of the gun to your forehead. You looked like you were in so much pain. Not again. So I granted you mercy. Damn. Oh no. Let me tell you a story. You needed help badly. This was the end for both of us. You know why you're in trouble, don't you, number 8? Are you a bad person? Thus, we are even. Does that make sense? I insist. No. 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 Where was I? And when was this? The 7th loop? The 18th? The car crashed, that much was obvious. Was this the one where I'd stabbed you first, or the one where I tried to threaten you? I couldn't remember. Or... wait. Why couldn't I roll back past this point? Can I not? It wasn't working. Was I stuck again? Was this a memory? Some kind of a hitch? Did I finally reach the end? So then, this was it. My final loop. The only ending I had left, and I couldn't even remember which one it was. After all this time, fate won out. Can I really not hit anymore? Okay. I just want to know. My only option was to give up. I don't want to give up. Something was moving. A sound off to my left. Huh? Oh. It must have been you. I guessed that you'd survived the impact this time. Were you still conscious? Then, all I could do now was... look. Ah. I was... alive? Just barely. My breath was slow, uneven. My cross dangled loosely from my neck. I don't want this guy to be alive. Even without looking up, I already knew what had happened. My car crashed, we survived, but not enough to save ourselves. It was a miracle that we were still breathing at all. And you. You... Somehow I knew you were connected to all of this. The memories of things that hadn't happened yet. The weird sense of deja vu every time I looked you in the eyes. The little coincidences and oddities that kept piling up. And how I knew we'd been through this before. That we'd died before. Even though it seemed so impossible. But we already had one miracle under our belt. What was one more? Your eyes bored into mine, red and bloodshot and weepy. If this was how things were gonna end anyway, then I didn't have much else to lose. Boy. The sound was more of a croak than anything else, like I hadn't had a drink in weeks. I nudged your hand with my own, trying to get your attention. Those eyes of yours. I could never tell if you were actually looking at me or just straight through me. For all I knew, you kept the damn thing open while you slept. Certainly wouldn't be the weirdest thing about you. You blinked, owl-like, mouth hung open in the way that you do when you're off on your own little world. I shifted in place, flicking your wrist. Hey, Earth to Poindexter? You still with me? Now that I got your attention, now that got your attention, you jolted as soon as my nails hit your skin. I never realized how many scars you had on your hands and alone. Some of those bite marks? Oh, the hiker. I am conscious. I noticed. Not sure how long we have left, though. Indeed. You looked away. Never a good sign. So I think I ought to know the truth before I kick the bucket. How do you mean? Cut the crap. You're not nearly as good as a liar as you think you are. You huffed. So tell me what's really going on here. At the very least, I know who to blame for it. It's not that simple. Most things in life aren't. Tell me anyway. You took your time, rolling your lip between your teeth. You are correct. You deserve to know. Yet, even so, you swallowed. For some reason, you looked real small all of a sudden. Even so, could you do something for me in return? I glanced up. Look. The rollback's back. A look of absolute bewilderment crossed your face. I didn't blame you. I had already done so much, and to ask another thing of you was nothing short of selfish, to say the least. I wouldn't forgive me either. I mean, it depends. Within reason, obviously. That was already more than enough. It is nothing major. My gaze fell upon where your hand was touching mine. Calluses and rough skin hidden underneath a worn leather glove, the hand of a worker. How little I knew about you, even now. I'm not the best at telling stories. Speaking in general is difficult. But I do enjoy listening to them. So, once I'm finished, do you tell me a story as well? Immature, selfish, stupid, a request that had everything I hated to be and more. With the world ending around me, I wanted that indulgence. Sure. To my surprise, you answered without an ounce of hesitation, like it was nothing. But, I'm warning you. Storytelling ain't exactly my forte either. Ain't too great at talking too, but it gets the job done. I couldn't resist the smile tugging at my lips. It most certainly does. I took a deep breath. How much do you remember? About tonight, about me. You clicked your tongue, taking a moment to respond. Let's see. I remember blaming myself for what we'd gone through. Thinking that if I'd just passed you by, none of this would have happened at all. If only you knew. In general, I remember meeting you for the first time. Anything else? Well, I remember trying to strike up a conversation one time, but you wouldn't stab me right in the middle of it. Said some real creepy shit too. And one other thing. Oh? I remember shooting you. I've been wondering if you're going to bring that up. I'd seen so many impossible things, I thought you were something unholy, something God needed me to kill. But the more I remember now, the more I think you're just someone who's as lost as I am. I waited, making sure you were finished before I spoke. Or procrastinated on getting out with it, more like. Everything that you have just told me did occur, once. In one timeline or another. I remember everything, every death, every ending. Sometimes I've lost track of the details here and there. But even as this world moves on without us, I have kept you here, looping again and again. You sighed. I figured it was something like that. Doesn't take a genius to put two and two together. How long has it been going on? I am uncertain. Long enough that I cannot roll back any further. Days, undoubtedly, weeks perhaps. At this point, it has been more times than you could possibly comprehend. And a sob bubbled up in my throat before I could just push it back down and squeeze my eyes shut. I can't keep going any longer. My voice cracked and I couldn't bring myself to hold it all in. As disgusting and shameful as useful as I felt, I sobbed there into the dirt once reality came crashing down upon me. All this time, I've been trying to escape this stupid cycle. Breaking out, getting captured, being punished, trying to break out again, over and over and over. Something in my chest was aching like it never had before. I sniffed, wiping my nose on my sleeve. I really thought, that this time would be for good. That I could escape and find some better ending. But now I'm just stuck in this whole other cycle, and I've gone and roped you into it too. I stopped trying to breathe properly again. I felt revolting. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you got dragged into all of this. My fingers dug into the ground, my nails scraping at all the dirt and loam and ash and filth they could find. I wanted to scratch at my arms instead, so badly, but it hurt too much to move. If I could just sink my teeth in, maybe I could dull the pain away, just like usual. And then I felt something. Your hand. You were squeezing mine, firm yet so gentle. So I opened my eyes. Look. Let me tell you a story. I said it so casually, like I had the faintest possible idea what I was doing. I didn't know. I didn't care. All I knew was that this was the end of everything and someone needed my help. Whatever pain you were going through, however much you suffered, I promised you a story with a happy ending. And if God had abandoned me here, then I sure as hell wasn't going to do the same to you. I took a deep breath and looked up at the stars. This is a story about a scorpion. A scorpion with a big venomous stinger and a scary looking claw. One day, the scorpion needed to get across a wide open river. But he couldn't swim, obviously, so he went in to ask someone for help. Why did he need to get across the river? Who knows? To get to the other side? Oh. Then who did the scorpion ask for help? I wonder if it matters. I feel like riding a turtle across a river would be easier than riding a frog. A turtle. He asked a turtle that was resting nearby on the riverbank. Isn't it supposed to be a frog? Hey, who's the one telling the story here? Is this actually a story that I'm not familiar with? He snorted. Carry on then. So the scorpion asked the turtle for a ride across the river. The turtle was a strong swimmer with a powerful shell to defend itself with, so he could make it across no problem. The turtle had nothing to fear, so he told the scorpion to climb right aboard, and the two set off. But a scorpion's nature is to sting that which he sees. While they were swimming across the river, the scorpion would have no choice but to attack its friend. A scorpion's stinger can't pierce a turtle's shell. No matter its nature, the turtle wouldn't get hurt. Then, would the turtle even notice that the scorpion had tried to kill him at all? I don't know what to say, man. Because this is, like, about us, right? I mean, he definitely noticed. Yes. Yeah, he would. The turtle would sense the movement on its back and feel the stinger push against his shell. Then the turtle would have to drown the scorpion. What? God granted the turtle with the means to defend himself, did he not? Then it would be the turtle's duty to enact justice on the sinful scorpion. Right? I guess so. Wait, I don't want that. I do not think I like that story very much. It's the only one I got, buddy. If you don't like it, come up with a better ending. It's not that simple. No? Why not? The future is what you make of it. The nature of a scorpion cannot be denied. No matter how many times he tries, his fate has already been determined. What? Like destiny or something? No, just stupidity and self-sabotage. Wait, can I have another shot at that story? I didn't like that. I squeezed your hand. It doesn't have to be that way, you know? I have no say in the matter. It is the very essence of the endless cycle. My ending will always remain the same. Even if you escape it? There's no escape. I thought the same thing one time. Thought that whenever I gave in, through all those months of hard work into the gutter for the sake of another quick smoke, there was no point in even trying. That the more I struggled, the harder it got. And I was wrong. And I was wrong. The effort that comes with getting yourself out of something like that, it never really ends. You don't just break out and then you're home free. You have to keep going. As much as it sucks, it's a commitment. How much more committed do I have to be? Your voice was full of venom. You have no idea how long I've been trying. No idea how much. My fingers curled around yours as you took a shaky breath. How much I've had to do just to get this far. If the reason why I'm here is only because I didn't try hard enough, then maybe I never actually had a chance in the first place. Maybe so. What? Maybe you just don't have it in you to go at this alone. No shame in it. Happens to the best of us. That's why you gotta know when to cut your losses and ask someone for help. You huff. You make it sound so easy. I know. What was it you said earlier? It's not that simple? And you're right. It isn't. But if you've already tried everything and you're just about ready to give up anyway, what else do you have to lose? Nothing. But the same cannot be said for the person helping me. That's on them. Their life, their choices. I would still be responsible for the hardships you suffered. Ugh, what did I just say? You went quiet again, but I had enough of this anyway. What are you... Come on, you. Up and at 'em. Even as every part of my body screamed in protest, I pulled myself up to my feet, using one of the trees nearby to keep my balance. I didn't let go of your hand. You're going to kill yourself if you try to move that much. Yeah. You killed me plenty of times already. I can handle it. As I said that, I plucked out a piece of shrapnel from my stomach and hissed at the pain as the pain hit me all over again. Case in point. Boy, that's enough out of you, wise guy. Come on, get moving. Excuse me? Sliding my hand down to your forearm, you yelped as I pulled you up beside me. I saw your leg was twisted, bent and broken in all the wrong ways, so I eased you onto my shoulder to help you stand. You're coming with me, buddy. This better ending of yours that you want so bad, wherever it is, we're gonna find it. You wobbled, clinging to my arm for dear life. This is ridiculous. We could not make a single step, not much less far enough to find help. I dragged us forward past the tree. You practically shrieked. See? Look at that. A step. We'll be out of here before you know it. Your nails dug into the fabric on my shirt. Why should we bother? I grunted, grasping for another branch to hold onto while I pulled us forward. It hurt to breathe. Listen, I have no idea what kind of higher power you ascribe to, but God put me here for a reason, and that reason is to rid the world of bad people and look after the good ones. No matter how this ends, whether I get you somewhere safe or die trying, I'm doing exactly what I set out to do. We took another few steps in silence as my boots slid across the dirt, your bad foot dragging behind you. You're insane. Nope, I'm just stupid. Now, are you going to help us walk or not? Or what? I didn't expect you to respond, or do much of anything, really. I was perfectly content to keep going until I couldn't anymore. But instead, you reached out to touch my chest and... Ow! Wait, what? I felt like I'd been socked in the gut. Something reverberated through me, and it took a second to shake off the impact. What the fuck? What the fuck did you do to me? But you didn't answer. When I looked down, I saw you'd gone completely limp. Oi! Oi! You didn't move a muscle. Your head rolled to the side, nosebleed streaming down across your lips. And then I realized how much better I was feeling. I looked down at my stomach where the glass had sliced me open from the crash. It was like the wound was closing in on itself. Not healing, per se, but melting together as if it had never been there at all. Like it was reversing itself or rolling back. Again? I keep moving. Ached like hell, but As my strength came back to me, I hoisted you up over my shoulder and carried you as far as I could. It was like you weighed nothing at all. I had no idea how long we'd been stuck here. I had no idea I had no idea how much time we'd lost or how the world had changed since we were last part of it. But I knew one thing for certain. I was going to find this a better ending, even if it killed me. Even if there's no point in trying. Even if neither of us really deserved it. Because God knows we needed it. Ending 0. Null? Nurture. Okay, I think we reached the true ending, right? Yeah, we got to the credits. That was so good. That was amazing. Good job. Man. I don't know. Aww. Oh, I wonder what would have happened if I picked the frog. I mean, I guess we would have ended up in the same place because the scorpion would have stabbed the frog and the frog would have died. But I wonder what would have happened if I picked the turtle wouldn't notice. I don't know. I'm guessing he wouldn't have liked that story anyway because he doesn't like when the thing's too trusting or whatever. Now unlock the ending gallery. There you can view all the endings you've received along with the ones you have yet to receive. Simply select the options labeled bonus from the menu to visit it. You enjoyed the strange little story known as Hikeback. I did! Although the clock had stopped, if you want to play through the game again, you may come visit me here where it all began. I hope you find the better ending that you seek. Let me just see if I missed, like, how much I missed, actually. Wow. I missed a lot. But I think I'll probably, yeah, I think I'll end my playthrough here, just so if you do want to play the game, you can have a couple of different endings, you know? Because that was good. You should play this game. Alright, let's get out of here. So that was Hikeback. I wasn't expecting, like, the driver to be kind of, like, I don't know, kind of a bad person, like, because you can't just go around killing people for the sake of your religious justice. I mean, like, it sounded like he was possibly going around and killing pedophiles, which is like, alright, that's not the worst thing in the world, but also, you still shouldn't probably be doing that. Like, you know, like, I don't know, maybe send the cops over or something. Don't be going around becoming a murderer. That's probably not great. But, I'm surprised that he came, like, kind of back around in the end and, like, he, like, helped the kid. And I guess I get why he would, like, shoot him, because it is kind of creepy if he just kept, kept getting stuck in a loop, and this kid's obviously probably the cause of it, but I don't know. I don't know, that was interesting. And this poor kid, I really hope that they get out of here and then that weird, like, lab or whatever that he was in gets burned to the ground or something. Or maybe we can send his new buddy with a gun after that lady, because she's the real evil person in all of this. But yeah, that was really good. I really liked it. So let me know what you think of the game down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. This is Casper Kuma, over and out.